Hey, what up? Back with another one. Checking out Center of the Matrix, a Java exercise done in codewars. Check out the description. Create a method that returns the center of a two-dimensional array. Should return null if there is no single center element. You can assume all inputs will be rectangular matrices in the form, and it shows a form. I don't know what a rectangular matrix is, so whatever. I know what a square matrix is. If I thought about it a little bit, I'll probably figure out, but time for talking, not for thinking. So you got to find the center of a two-dimensional array. That's the thing. Here, this two-dimensional array, you got to find the center row and the center element. So looking at this one, the center row, of course, is the middle one. The center element is the middle one. Pretty technical there, right? So let's break it down a little bit more. The center row is going to be row 1, because this is 0, 1, 2, row-wise. Row 1 is the center element, and then within that row, element 1 is the center element, because it's 0, 1, 2 inside of there. It says it should return null if there is no single center element. There's going to be situations where there is no center. Let me break down at least one here. Think about a two-dimensional situation where you only have two subarrays. I was missing a word there for a second. It stalled out. The car stalled. So let's say each of these is an array. So you got array, let's just throw them in brackets to make it a little easier to understand. So let's say we got these two arrays here. You got to find a center element. Well, you've got two subarrays. Which one is the middle one? There isn't one. And if you go further, let's say you decided that the second one was the center one. What's the center element? There is no center element because you got two on each side. So that's a no-go. This is going to be a null. And we can generalize this to say that really, if you have an even number of subarrays, you cannot have a middle array. And if you have an even number of elements in an array, you can't have a middle element. Because being in the middle relies on each side of that middle having the same number of elements. Like in the case of 3 elements, you have this 2 as a center because you have 1 here and 1 here. So the condition I'm going to have to check for is the number of arrays odd, and is the number of elements within each array odd. Only then can I have a middle element in this whole deal. And that ends up being the big check. So you've got to check for that, and then once you get in there to find the middle element, you're just going to divide the element length, or sorry, the array length by 2. Let's clear this out. Getting a little messy here. Let's get into our solution, folks. So I'm running out of time. I got something coming up. I'm recording under duress here. Man, got shit to do. All right. Alrighty. So we're going to do checks, because we're going to check the possibility of not having a middle element or center of the matrix. So the matrix variable name is matrix. See if I can get this all typed up within the time I got. So like, if the number of subarrays is 0, it's a no-go. That's one situation. And I think this is another situation, but I'm not quite sure. I think if there's nothing at all in this array of arrays, if it's empty, I guess you could say, then that's a situation where you have no center. And then here's another situation where you have no center. Trying to type too fast and I'm screwing it up, folks. I'm screwing up. So yeah, note to self, don't try to start a code breakdown video when you got like 10 minutes until an appointment, right? This will be funnier later. Okay, so this last portion is I'm checking for a subarray length. Like, is the first subarray, does it have an even number of elements? Because if it does, it's a no-go. So I'm checking for even number of, let's do it like this. All right, no, we won't, time constraints. Even number of subarrays, even number of elements in a subarray. Those both need to be odd, so I'm checking for even. I'm checking for even because it's a disqualifier. So I'm going to return null in all these circumstances. And there actually isn't much else to do, because if there is a center, I just need to find it. And here's how I find the center, the GUI center of the matrix. You do your double indexing here, and then so when you do double indexing, the first bracket is the row, second bracket is the column. So row wise, I'm going to get the number of rows divided by 2, and that'll give me the center row. And then column wise, I'm going to get the number of elements divided by 2 within that middle row, and that's going to give me the middle element. And I didn't specify it really, but returning an integer, which is the single middle element. Or I guess you're either returning the integer or null, which is why it has you returning an integer object, because you can't return null from a primitive, the way I understand it. So this leaves you open to returning null because it's an object. Anyway, this thing's done. I think. Got a few minutes to spare. Let's run this sucker. Alrighty. I screwed something up. So what did I mess up? Link 2, link 0. Oh, yeah. I actually got to do this, where in this second part of the double indexing, I need to get the length of the first subarray divided by 2. So that's what I screwed up. Impressive. All right, folks. Yep. Finished it up. Got a little bit of time to spare. As you can see right there. Got a few minutes to spare there. About to do a Zoom call, but that's for me to worry about, not you. If anybody watches this video, you can have a chuckle. But that's it. I'm out. See you.